Welcome to episode 7 of Speaking Tangents,
Hello.
the podcast where we professionally go off topic. How are you, mates?
I'm good. How are you?
I forgot to say the names, right? With Orion
And Fidas.
and Vidas. Yes.
So tired, but good.
Oh man, I'm so tired. So I had like a late shift last night. And I also have some good news actually about that. Not about the shift, about the lack of shifts in the near future.
Nice.
And you know what? When you think it cannot get any worse, and it does.
Of course it does.
Of course it does. So we had a wedding, So by the way, I'm doing like a part-time in a restaurant because I need some extra cash. And, you know, the bartending job is not that complicated, to be quite honest. You just have to be tidy and to do everything in a timely fashion. That's it. So, and by the way, I had no training before that, so it was all on the job. So there was a wedding, there were people, of course, the weather was nice up until it wasn't. When that freaking storm came and messed up one of the umbrellas, it just blew it out.
Yeah.
Right. And all of a sudden, we get this impromptu party, which is actually not quite a party. It's quasi-paid commercial thing, like some YouTubers and some vloggers, bloggers, whatever they are, came to advertise. They were basically streaming live from the bar, from the restaurant.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And they were drinking like on house. Nobody knew about anything.
Of course not.
Of course, because this guy who's... Anyways. Yeah, exactly. I still work there, so I will choose my words
Carefully.
wisely, yeah. This guy, it's kind of doing this guerrilla kind of things, like all of a sudden something is happening and nobody knows what and how and when and up until which hour it will take place and when will it end. So at some point those guys, like really really drunk guys, we were closing. I mean, I already cleaned the bar, everything. They were like, hey, we want some more beer. Like, nope. What do you mean no? Your boss said that we could stay up until 5 in the morning. Sure, but we just closed at 10. I closed the bar. Everything is clean. One of my colleagues, seeing the possible conflict, she was like, we still have bottled stuff.
Yeah.
So if you want it, get it.
No tap, but bottled, yeah.
And the thing that I really, really liked about our new manager, she was like, you know what? I just issued them a big invoice with everything they drank. If it's in house, well, our bigger boss will pay. If not, well, good luck.
Yeah, have fun.
So that's how I got like almost at 1 in the morning last night, even though my shift was deemed to end at 10:30. And let's say
3 hours, come on.
Yeah. Anyways, I wrote it on everything because like fuck off. But yeah, so I'm Romanian and we Romanians grew up with this idealized image about the West, and Germany was kind of like really up there, like, whoa, like Deutschland. Yeah. Mythology, yes. Legends.
Am Ende kochen wir alle nur mit Wasser, right?
Yep.
In the end, everybody just, boils water for their noodles.
It is so.
Humans.
It is so.
The same.
But sometimes, I mean, some people still have those myths, and they choose not to see what they see.
Yeah.
And they choose to paint a way different reality when they go back home to whatever village they came from or whatever town, city, what have you. But yeah, there's abuse. There's stuff that's illegal that's happening. There's like lots and lots of stuff. But enough negativity. At 10:30 this morning, I had what's called here a Vorstellungsgespräch.
Oh,
I had an interview, a job interview, and I got it.
nice.
I got it starting.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I'm actually very, 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 very happy for this, even though I'm very tired and it doesn't show. I cannot say yet the name because our music school is getting it's merging basically with a bigger school
Oh,
here.
interesting.
And yeah, we will be getting way more of everything.
Oh, that's what you hinted at last
Yes,
time.
yes, but
Okay.
yeah, well, now it's truly
Okay.
it's a done deal.
In trockenen Tüchern, yes.
Yes, I cannot yet say the names, than anything, because the parents of the students and the students, they haven't been announced yet.
Oh,
So there will
okay,
be
yeah,
like
yeah.
there will be a professionally done announcement.
Yeah.
But yes, it's really good. I will be involved in 3 projects. So the first
Nice.
one will be just as before, the teaching bit, which I really enjoy. The second one is the one I'm freaking excited for because I will be assigned to at least 2 schools. We know of 2 schools now, but there might be more of them in the future, where I will be creating and coordinating pop rock bands, like high school bands.
Nice.
Yes.
Oh, that's
Oh, yeah.
fantastic. And they're so lucky to have
Oh
you.
yeah. Oh, but I don't know about that, but I'm
Yeah,
so
I know.
happy to do that.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Plus, like you would say here in Germany, darüber hinaus. So, moreover, I will be also doing some producing and some like technical stuff, like stuff I studied right in the university. They will also involve me in a third project, which is, I would say, even better than this one, if you can imagine anything better than this one. It's a charity stuff. It's sponsored by the city and by the state.
Cool.
And we will basically choose kids with tough lives, let's say, or
Yeah.
tough life stories. We will be training them in music. There is so this program basically starts in March and ends I think exactly now, end of July or something like that. Everything is still fresh. I've seen
Yeah.
like lots of dates, lots of numbers, lots of percentages, so it's a bit murky. But
So it's like a scholarship type of thing?
yes.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
So we will be kind of like talent scouts for like super talented kids and
Cool.
try to give them a different future, which is like,
Yeah.
what can you ask? I couldn't ask for more, actually. So it's like super exciting, and I
And you
want.
get paid for all of that on top of it.
Yes,
Which is
yes.
pretty fantastic.
I actually got notified that the deal which we had up until now basically stops, and the new deal is I will be getting paid for everything, even for the first test lesson, which was on the house usually.
Nice.
So I ended up doing many hours of charity work, which was not charity work.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm very, very excited for all this. I'm still processing it, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, it's still not. It hasn't sunk in yet, and I'm happy.
Yeah, you absolutely deserve it. I'm very happy with and for you. This is really great news.
Thanks, mate. Thanks. I mean, it's been a while
had it coming.
since I had some good news, actually. So, yeah.
This is fantastic. So, and that's going to start when? Can you say that?
1st of September,
1st of
yes.
September,
I can
okay.
say
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
but
okay,
I
okay.
cannot give any school
more
names,
details,
any other details. But, I mean, from the sense I got, I actually applied for a job at this school a long time ago. It might be more than 6 months, almost a year. And actually, the HR guy told me today the only reason we couldn't give you a job is because everything is taken. We have like all the jobs already taken, all the rooms already taken. So now they're thinking of a second building.
Wow, this is a really big thing.
Yes, which will be in this part of the city, so in the eastern part of the city, because they have the city center / northern part of the city kind of covered. And now they want to also keep the branding and the name and everything of this school, because it has like 38 years or so of history, right? So you cannot just delete that.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
People know the name. People truly know the name, and plus it's one of the good schools. I mean, I got really lucky. And let me tell you like a short story, like kind of stupid, like that moment you want to smash your head onto a wall. So when we were working together at that wonderful company, one night I was waiting for Andre, for my little one, to finish with his violin class, and the manager of the school, he was like, "Hey, am I wrong, or are you also a musician?" I was like, "Yes, I am a musician." "Okay, would you be interested in teaching here?" I was like, I have a full-time job, which was true, and I've done this in the past, and it wasn't really much fun. I mean, mind you, I was speaking of like 20 years before that moment, and I never even considered that in 20 years. And after having 2 kids and not murdering them for various reasons.
Yeah. I mean, especially 2 boys.
Yeah, you'll see with 2 girls too, but...
Yeah, no.
Of course not.
No,
Girls
no.
are the best.
Yeah.
Well, they are the best.
They are the best.
They are the best. But even with second best kids, like boys...
No, come on, you boys are fantastic.
Yeah, just, even like that, and even with all this thing, you kind of, and this is a more philosophical thing I want to talk in this episode about. We all have this kind of a shadow of a memory of something, and we never take into account that we changed.
Yeah.
But because, for example, I'm 43 years old, right? I don't feel 43. Like I don't wake up and like, yes, I'm 43. Yeah, my body feels 43, and it's like in the morning, it's really stiff and like not good stiff, not good stiff, the bad kind of stiff, right? I'm walking kind of like Frankenstein and the Frankenstein monster actually. So. Yeah, but in my head, I'm still like in my late 20s or something.
And I mean, I'm 34 and just laughed about stiff, so...
Yeah, so it is like that, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think this is I think that's like a good portion of food for thought, because... here and now, like the Buddhist way of being or of living, of course, I think, no, is the best. It's not, I think. I'm truly convinced. You truly have to live in the moment. And we don't. We almost never do.
Almost never, yeah.
Yeah, right? So there was that Persian saying that... young people live in the future, and old people live in the past.
In the past,
right? Yeah. We would have to be a middle kind of people, all of us, and live in the here and now. Like everything is happening now, because what's done is done. You cannot turn it, and we don't know the future. Whatever. Whatever gadgets and tricks and things we might have to help us.
Even if you have the stupid superpower of knowing that's going to happen in a few seconds.
Yeah. Which would be a stupid thing. Would be a depressing thing. Imagine, like to have like a deja vu and like fuck, and not being able to do anything. So yeah.
I know what you're saying. I myself, I'm pretty content not knowing the future. Although there are moments, especially since having kids, I was like, where this is going? What are the right moves to make now to set up my kids? I don't worry too much about myself, to be honest, because I went through enough situations that were the whole spectrum from fantastic and great and like best thing ever to Jesus freaking Christ, I don't want this to happen to my worst enemy type of stuff. And I'm still here, so I'm gonna be okay, right? So I can tough it out until the end. But I want to shape a world for my kids and their kids that's just as good, as open, as full of chances and wonders as it was for me. And in those situations, it's like, oh, it would be good to know what the future holds, actually. And I also sometimes still notice myself and others as well fall back into this behavior of, oh, I don't know how the future is going to be. Right now, it looks even worse. So I kind of try to hold on to the past, and I usually can like catch myself with this fallacy. But we are almost never in the here and now. We all either try to live in the future, or we meaning humans, we try to live in the past, and it's like fluid. The scales of towards which we tend to go to. So it's a really tough one, and there is also no. It's easy to say like live in the here and now. Yeah, okay, fine, but
How?
Oh no, living in the here and now is kind of easy if you think about it. There is a catch though. Everything you do now has a consequence later. And what that's going to be and when that later is going to be is where the spice is, right? Because yes, live your life, live the moment now, right? Memento mori is something the Stoics
or carpe
used
diem
to say.
also,
Carpe diem, exactly.
also good one, yeah.
Oh wow, today you're going with a classical pronunciation.
Yes.
I'm proud of you.
Yes,
so
yes.
where was I going? Yeah, but you still have to do the best you can, like best try, because the future is still coming. It's not going away just because you don't focus on it.
Also true.
So how do you get that together? That's the tough part for me.
I know that you're a great fan of Marcus Aurelius and Stoicism. And actually, I think some of the first Stoics were coming from the extreme Orient, so from China. And the original, like Tao Tse and Kung Tse after him, they were kind of, or was it the other way around? Was it Kung Tse that was before Tao Tse? Man, I'm too tired now.
I don't know.
All right, so I'm so tired that I cannot remember which was before which one, but I'm pretty sure Tao Tse was Tao Tse, sorry, Lao Tse. I'm sorry, or Laotius as the Latins called him, was before Kung Tse or Confucius, and he was.
Yeah, I think you're right.
He was talking about the hidden meaning of things and of the living in the here and now, because there was also a Greek philosopher who said, if you step in a river, neither you nor the river will be the same.
Oh, one of my favorite.
Right?
Heraclitus, yeah.
Yes.
Pantare.
And it took me years to understand it. I was like, whatever, yeah. And then, oh, wow, okay. So, yeah, it basically speaks of our experiences and the way we experience life. And going back to my teaching, shadow of a memory, it was totally false, because I am not the guy I was 20 years ago. Like
I mean,
nothing.
thankfully, right?
Yes, but also like I think um, we should truly embrace this and realize it that you're not the same, and you won't have the same reaction to things you
I mean,
reacted to.
hopefully, right? Hopefully you evolved and matured,
Yes,
and
but it's not a rule
it's
for
not a
all.
given. Yes, that's
But
true.
but but still, going back to the here and now, I think it's quite important to not have any or not hold any fixed values or fixed opinions or fixed anything, because you're not the same. Wait, what I mean, because this could go down a very slippery slope very
Yeah,
fast,
yeah.
because I saw your face. No, this does not relate to ethics and morals and anything like that. No, but I think we always have to reevaluate ourselves
Yes,
and
agreed.
see where we stand in the here and now, and not have I hate this because I had that experience. Okay, maybe that was then. How about now? Right? Because that's living in the past. That's a shadow of a thing that happened that still persists, and it might not hold water
The
anymore.
same thing I talked about in, was it the first or the second episode? Teaching my kid to ask, is that true? And is it a fact or an opinion?
Yeah.
You have to do that to yourself. Like, if you think something, you feel something with feelings, it's even harder to do because they are much harder to understand, at least for me. Thoughts are pretty clear. Like, just one example. So I went to school and had Latin and ancient Greek. So I did my Abitur with ancient Greek, actually. So I had the chance to read Heraclitus in the original, for example. And when we read that sentence, I was like, yeah, that's clear. Like, the molecules are gone, right? That was my first reaction to it. So thoughts, easy. Emotions, feelings, whew, they're tough, right? And so especially for those, getting back to where I was before I get lost on another tangent,
Which we do
which we do
gladfully.
professionally,
Exactly.
you have to ask yourself, and then water is getting muddy really fast because, okay, why do I feel like that? Well, maybe because of that. To me personally, the first answer usually is, shit, do I know why I feel like that? Like, So that's so important what you're saying. And like, is that true? Is that the fact, or is it just my opinion about something that is biased by time? I mean, if you look back, things that were bad at the time, like 20 years later, you laugh about them sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So it gets distorted, and it's really, really important to constantly keep doing that. And it's hard. It's
It is.
really, really hard, and it takes a lot of energy. And one thing, I'm not the old times were better type of guy, but one thing that worked in favor of all the, let's say, old people, ancient people, and I don't even make a difference. Like, it doesn't matter if it's the Romans, the Greeks, the Chinese, the Babylon. It doesn't matter because these ideas were like universal. We find them in the cultures in India and so on. They were less distracted. Like, half of the day it was dark, so you weren't doing anything other than looking at the stars, right? You had obligations, of course. Humans always had obligations, but they changed. You were not available for 8 billion people 24/7.
That's
So
true.
you had less stuff going on, I would say, per unit of time. Let's say.
Maybe I'm not convinced, but okay.
And we are distracted way more from thinking about these things.
Oh, yes.
That's where I'm
I
going.
totally agree with that. But, imagine that, sure, you had a lot more time away from the internet, which was not in existence yet, or social media or anything that came after, sure. But the amount of brute force and like raw kind of work you had to do just to, keep yourself and your family alive,
That depends on the time, though. I
depends
recently
on the
read
yeah.
that like middle-aged peasants, they actually work less hours than we do nowadays. So
True, because there were way more religious holidays, basically
Yeah.
6 months worth of holidays.
oh my god, that would be so nice. If we can have that back, I would actually maybe go to church. No, I wouldn't, but I would,
Mate, so my mother, she's coming from or she came from a village, and I spent some summers, a lot of summers actually, at my grandparents in the village. And I have to say, yes, they did have electricity and radio and TV and all the accoutrement, right, the modern stuff, but they were still kind of living like more than 100 years
Yeah.
ago. So not once, and trust me, it was not once, it was many times, they took me to help them with working in the fields.
Yeah,
If you've ever done anything like that,
I did.
so imagine that they had, and I actually still have it today, but it's complicated, legally speaking, about 10 hectares worth of cultivated areas. And we went at some point to dig. I don't even know the exact term in English. I'm pretty sure there's one. To till the earth, I think it's called.
Yeah.
For corn. 3.5 hectares of fucking corn, mates. So imagine an ocean of corn, like never ending.
Yeah,
It was
I know.
never freaking ending. I was a kid, and after what seemed to me like half an eternity, as we would say in German, and blisters on
Yeah.
both of my hands, and being burnt and being cut from the
Yeah.
corn leaves, which are like really nasty.
Yeah.
Actually, I was like, the hell with this, I give up. I don't want to, right? So this bit, I'm pretty sure that if you were being born in that reality, of course your physical strength and stamina would be way better, but
Way different, yeah, of course.
but still, I think we sometimes kind of forget about the luxury in which we are living, right?
Oh yeah, especially as knowledge workers, and I say us because I work in IT.
Yeah,
Yeah, like it's luxury. Like if I look at my father, who's been a metal worker since forever,
yeah,
and I grew up in the workshop basically, and spent a lot of holidays and vacations, like actually learning parts of the trade and all this stuff. Yeah, knowledge workers live in a freaking bubble.
and also like the bit I'm doing at the school, it's also like it's luxury, really.
Yeah.
It's and plus the pleasure you get out of seeing someone's bulb turning on, like when
Yeah.
they figure out something, that's like, yep, it just made my day. Thank you
Yeah.
very much. I'm
Like-
going home.
Simple stuff. I can choose in very broad ranges when I start working. I wanted to be done early today, so I decided I'll start at 6 and be done by 11, right?
Right.
If you have a field of corn or wheat or whatever, or cattle or whatever, you do not decide, I mean, you could, I'm done at 12, but that's not going to work out for you and for your family. So
I mean,
that's
my
luxury.
yeah, my
100%.
grandparents from the village, they also had a cow, and I was appointed to go with the cow, to watch her while grazing
Yeah.
because she had an affinity for the neighbor's corn, and the neighbor was not
Was not happy about
was
that,
not
yeah.
amused, right? Not impressed, and. Yeah, her name was Joica, which
Oui.
yeah, it's kind of funny because joy is it comes from Jupiter. It's like our Donnerstag, right?
Yeah.
Our Thursday,
Yeah.
which yeah, it comes from what is it, Jovem? Or I'm just
Yeah.
trying to remember things in Latin and maybe Italian, but yeah, jeudi in
Yeah.
French, and joica is kind of like that. This itza thing at the end. I think it's a Slavic thing, but it's like a diminutive. It's kind of like a shen in German,
Yeah,
right?
it's like a cutie.
It's
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
You know what's really funny about naming a cow Jupiter?
No,
There is this saying in Latin, quod licet Jovi, non licet bovi. So
exactly.
what is allowed for Jupiter is not allowed for the cattle, right?
Well,
And so that's like extra funny having a
extra fun.
cow
Yeah, exactly.
named after Jupiter. That's
And
like,
what's even better is that my grandparents had exactly no
No
idea
idea,
what
yeah.
they did there. So yes, so yeah, poetic,
Yeah.
poetic revenge, let's say, or irony. But yeah, man. So working with your hands, or not only working with your hands, because I don't know if I said this before, but I'm also a luthier. I'm a guitar builder, and well, more or less guitars. I've built other instruments too, but from the stringed family. And for me, working with my hands,
it's different.
not only different, but it's almost mystical. So I get into a kind of a trance,
Yeah.
which is like really, really dangerous when you're working with power tools. So people do not go into a trance while working with power tools. I just found out recently that so I sold my table saw to a guy who seems like he was in a rush and he just lost 3 fingers.
Damn.
In
Don't be in a rush with power tools, please and
never,
thank you. Yeah.
never like a band saw, also very dangerous, but a circular saw.
Yeah.
No way back from
Ciao,
that
ciao,
thing.
ciao. Yeah.
So yeah. Well, he's in his 70s, so he might not have used his hand for much longer, but still horrible. And
Yeah.
I felt guilty for that, even though there was exactly
Why?
zero reason to feel guilty. But he took off all the safety elements. You know?
Yeah, we just said, right? Not everybody matures,
No.
let's say.
So, but again, going back to the other tangent of working with your hands, it's a bit different when you're if the fact that you'll eat or not that evening depends on it. So
On it, yeah.
when you're building something, even like metalwork, right? I'm pretty sure if your father does not feel like working on a certain project a certain day, he might postpone it for the next day or whatever. If it's not like a
Yeah.
life and death thing, I presume is never quite. I mean, I knew from my bit of building stuff from wood, it was never truly a life and death.
Thankfully.
Yeah. It was really seldom a true like it's today. I really need your help. It happened. I can tell some stories about this, which are kind of interesting because I met some really interesting musicians from my home country, from my first home country, because Germany became my home. I've been here for 9 years now. So, anyways, but yeah, I think going back to philosophy and having more time for the deep end of things, maybe, but also maybe not, because I don't think all of us are so inclined on thinking of
Oh no, definitely not.
on
Yeah.
the deep meaning of
Yeah.
things, right?
Some don't care and are very happy with it. And I gotta say, sometimes I envy those people
Yeah.
because
Ignorance is bliss, right?
sometimes it is. If I go on these long thinking streaks, I also tend towards the melancholic side of the mood oftentimes,
Yeah.
which for my wife and kids is sometimes like, why is he like that now? Like the older one is very sensible and sensitive
Yeah.
to these things. He's like, you okay? Are you mad at me or something? Like, no, I'm just thinking about things, and it's like, ugh, you know.
Yeah.
But sorry, I need to go back to the working with the hand things.
Yeah.
It just, because I've been creating and working with my hands and for basically ever since I remember, because I grew up in a family of craftspeople, like father and mother side alike. Like on the mother side,
Okay.
like mainly gardeners,
Interesting.
and then on the father side, like different trades, like builders, Maurer, electricians, metal workers, right? And then we also had on my mother's side, especially, we had like some like theological people, let's say, like priests and bishops and so on,
Oh.
and also some, in quotes, white collar people, like my grandfather on the mother's side. He used to be a trader,
Okay.
and then when he came here, he switched to gardening. So I grew up a lot, around people who were creating things with their hands. And in the village where my parents are from, everybody was also kind of a farmer, more or less. They all had like either a garden or actually fields and so on.
Yeah.
And so I'm used to that kind of working and creating. And when working in my dad's workshop, there was a lot of flow state happening, let's say. Because especially if you create the same piece multiple times. So one of the things my father does for a customer he's been working with forever, they do these barriers against like flooding and so on.
Oh, okay.
And you can see one of those type of barriers. Can you see it? I don't know. So I'll not say you can see that because I'm not sure right now. But these type of barriers go to Australia and all over the globe.
Oh.
And so there are types of barriers, and they're always the same, right? So they have the same parts, and the only difference is basically the length they are.
Right.
And so
I think I saw something like that. They look kind of like a crooked L of sorts, right? And you just...
some of them, yeah.
Ah, okay, interesting.
And so you have certain parts that you just pre-make in the hundreds, like 200, 300,
Yeah.
because you use them in all types, right?
Okay.
And so
They're like Lego pieces of sorts.
basically,
Yeah.
so there are a few variations of those, and at some point, me and my brother, we knew by heart what material you take, like which type of steel, the width, the height, and everything, where the holes go, which size they are, and so on and so forth, what to weld, what not to weld. And so doing these kinds of things, like sawing, drilling, welding, for 2 or 3 days on end until you have like the 300 you need, right? Yeah, this state is like a trance, actually.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you look at the pile of stuff you did, and yeah, every bone in your body aches,
Yeah.
but you kind of achieved something. So that's one type of creation, right? Then I moved into this whole EMT, transporting people to and from hospitals, etc. And that's also creating, but in a very different sense, because you see people in the worst situations, and from that you try to create things like hope, like safe spaces, like it sounds bigger than it is, but I don't have other words for it, right? But you also like create a lifeline for people sometimes.
Well, it is like that, right? I mean,
So
basically,
that's truly life and death.
yeah, that's actual
Yeah,
life and death, yeah.
and that's a different way of creating, and making mistakes is also different. Like if I mess up a piece of steel, well, it costs a handful of bucks, like whatever, you toss it and it's okay. If you make a mistake in an environment like that, that could mean somebody's dying, right? So
Yeah,
that's different, and the feeling of going home in the end is also different, because now we're talking about people. And even if there are good ways to cope with it, and some also not so good ways to cope with this type of job, it hits different. So you go home at the end of the day and it's different.
for sure.
And then now I'm working in IT. So again, it's another way of creating. I started as a coder. I'm doing a lot of different things now. But at the end of the day, you created something, and that does something that you wanted to do sometimes.
I know
So
exactly what you mean, man. So, I mean, we worked together at the same
yeah, and
company at some point, and I was doing the design bit and stuff.
exactly. And there
And
is also flow states
yeah,
to be had in both occupations,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
it is different.
Truly
And
different, yes.
this question of what am I doing here and why and what am I doing with my life comes up more often the more abstract the things are that you create. At least it is like that for me, because sometimes I'm like, dude, I'm sitting in front of a computer all day, and a part of me is really glad that I found a job that I like, that I can do like that, because let me tell you, doing EMS or metalworking is taking a toll on your body, and it did on mine,
I can
definitely.
imagine, yeah.
So on the one hand side, I'm really happy about it, and on the other hand side, there's this little voice in my head all the time, is like, dude, you should be spending time with your kids, running around barefoot through a meadow, through the forest. And I think that's
Which is
why,
right.
yeah, that's why, at least to me and many people I know, this working thing, and especially working with your hands thing, is so important, because you actively shape your world around you. And at the end of the day, it does something good for you and for your environment, and then for the people that are really important for you. And you cannot under or overstate how important that is, right? So having meaning in what you're doing. And I think that's something we as a society are losing right now, bit by bit.
Yeah, it's becoming more and more abstract, right?
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
you don't see the direct result like you would have seen like for creating some metal pieces, or like I did whenever I was building a musical instrument, or even just repairing or modifying it. It was the same kind of and it is still the same kind of reward, like an
Yeah.
instant reward you
Yeah.
get, like, yes, I did this, I created this, I changed this, I repaired this. And it's also like an internal boost of sorts, like, okay, I'm capable, so I can do this, because there's also that imposter syndrome that most of us have, not the person that should have it.
About imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
So I went through, let's say, 2.5 occupations.
Okay.
And the half one being the thing working in my father's workshop as a youth, right? You know, when I had imposter syndrome in the IT job, in the stupid abstract job where it was not super clear what you're actually doing, and basically all of us are still learning new things every day. But in the other two jobs, not a single day did I have an imposter syndrome, not a single one. How do you explain that?
I presume, or I can imagine, is the abstract part of it, is not the direct observing the direct result of it in a way, I guess. Um, Otherwise, how would I even qualify this? I don't know. I mean, for example, I've been having the imposter syndrome in almost anything and everything I did.
Okay, interesting.
So even though, for example, so I've just been the other weekend or the last weekend in Coburg. The samba festival thing was amazing. Really, I've been there with this samba ensemble. It's called União do Samba. It's like a bigger group consisting of 4 individual teams. It was an amazing experience. And I have to say, so you saw me at that smaller festival here in Friedberg. I was having a good time and stuff. Going back on bigger stages and or with bigger audiences, it triggered my my imposter syndrome pretty badly, I have to say. So, for example, nothing we played there is even remotely up to spec with my skills. So it's like really easy music to play. Even though the simplest of music can be challenging if your heart is not into it.
Yeah. Simple and easy is not the same.
Exactly. So you still have to be really into it, and you have to give your 100%
Yeah, you still
anyways.
have to be there. Yeah.
You have to be there. Yeah. You're talking about here and now, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But so we had the first gig. I think we had 6 or more gigs. The entire starting from Friday to Sunday. They had many more other smaller gigs individually, like smaller groups of this entire association, let's say. And because it was mainly a percussion event, so I was the invited musician, let's say, right? But still, I mean, there were like, most of them are 2 chords songs, so nothing above my pay grade, let's say. And I still had some butterflies in my stomach, which it's still good to have wherever you are in your so-called career, a word I really hate. Or in your music journey, let's call it that. I like it more, the journey.
I like that the Witchers call it the path.
Or the path, exactly. Yeah. Or the way, like the Mandalorian. This is the way, right? Exactly. So I still had that. I still like, will I perform okay? Will I forget something? Will I do this and that?
Is that imposter syndrome?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't felt...
Okay.
I haven't felt like 100% professional, right? And I've been doing music professionally for many years now, right? Professionally or semi-professionally. So I kind of always was a semi-professional from the technical point of view, meaning that I was also doing something else besides music to earn some money, right? Sometimes I was doing more money from music, sometimes from something else like lutherie or design or something else, right? So if we go with technical terms and stuff that people really love, I was more of a semi-professional, so not a true. I was just doing music for, putting bread on my table, right? But given all that, I still felt a bit uneasy, a bit like not in my element, a bit, I have to say, for the first 2 gigs, right? Because reasons, but mainly my insecurities and the way I feel about my playing, which, I still kind of... I'm a bit like Janus, or like that Greek thing that Janus is copied from, like
Kairos.
Right?
The right moment, yeah.
Right. So I still kind of have 2 faces, or like the theater masks, right? One is laughing, one is crying. Whenever someone praises my musicianship, let's say, my ego gets inflated, like, yeah, man, fuck yeah.
We all do that, yeah.
And the other side of it is like, fuck, I'm not even, I'm nowhere on the scale, right? So, and of course, there are many, many reasons for all that. And the imposter syndrome, I have to say, even though it's horrible to have it, it's also a good, it's kind of like an inner compass of sorts. It's kind of like slaps you back into place, like, yo, don't overstate your position. You're still here. You still have to learn, right? So I think you kind of have to balance them both. And again, going with this quasi-stoicist, quasi-Asian thing, like living here and now and taking everything at face value. Yeah, it's kind of rebalancing yourself always.
But is that actually imposter syndrome? Like, in my definition, imposter syndrome means that you have the impression or the feeling you do not belong there because you don't know what you're doing.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
That's it. I mean, so let me rephrase it, and this will sound like blowing my own horn, right? So I played, I played with really, really tough bands and really like good bands and like really tough styles of music, ranging from classical music to jazz and everything in between. So I knew I could do it, but
Dude, you're a great musician.
Yeah, I'm a musician, but still,
you misspoke. Thanks.
Again,
Yeah.
it's that thing that I kind of feel
Misspoke, mispronounced. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
whatever.
whatever.
I still
You got
got it. No, it is. So let me rephrase it. I was playing with this other band, and I just saw a thing on YouTube that truly set me back into my own past. So it's not a comparison to this musician. It's just the story is the same. George Duke, the famous keyboard player. When he was younger, he joined Frank Zappa, the legendary musician, right? And at some point, Frank was doing kind of these humoristic songs. He always did that, like, mixing humor with music and sarcasm and his things. And he was doing kind of like a doo-wop thing, ran tan 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 don don don, like the 50s, like
Yeah.
the doo-wop. It was all for shits and giggles, as they say. So it was nothing too serious. And this guy was like, "Hey man, I cannot play that." And Frank Zappa was like, "What? Why? Is it something wrong with your hands?" Like, "No man, but I've been to the Conservatory of Music." "Oh, it's beneath you." Oh. And that was like back to my own past. I did the exact same thing. So I joined a band at some point. I was young, I was stupid, and there was this guy who opened his heart and showed us his songs, and I was like, shit, these are shit songs, they are so easy, like D major, and fuck that. I was an asshole. Yes, 100%. I can truly embrace my assholishness now, but yeah, for me it was like, that's beneath me. I studied jazz, I studied classic guitar. I can play this and that. And now thinking of it, I can truly say I missed out on the opportunity of being in a pretty cool band. I'm pretty sure that would have been a pretty cool band, but you live, you learn, and of course there are always circumstances, right?
Yeah.
I did this because that, and water under the bridge.
Sometimes you own your shit and move on.
Yeah, I mean,
Done. Yeah.
exactly. Thinking of it right now, you know. And going back to this kind of thing, so we were coming back from this samba festival, and at some point we were just chatting. At some point I fell asleep because I was like really
Yeah.
really fried. um and this lady, one of the members of the band, she was like, "So Philip, now, like, for real, why are you playing with us?" You know, like the brutal German honesty. I was like,
Shouldn't I be playing?
yeah,
with
exactly.
you? Like,
No, I mean, she meant that I'm too good for
Yeah.
them, right? I was like, listen, first of all, and I said, like, there's no hidden agenda, there's no nothing behind this. It's exactly how it sounds. First of all, I love music. That's my first thing. And second, I know what you guys are and what you guys stand for and stuff, and I actually enjoy this sort of music. Three, so I don't expect anything unrealistic from a band that consists mostly of hobbyists,
Yeah.
right? But people who invested years of their lives honing their skills into drumming and into remembering pretty intricate patterns
Yeah.
of drumming. And I mean,
I saw them live. It's like,
yeah,
wow.
right. And it was pretty tight, I have to say,
Yeah.
for amateur players, pretty tight. Yes, not all the gigs were great. Now, wait,
Professional players have that too, right? So
of course, but still, I mean, I had this, like, changing impressions,
Yeah.
aftermath discussion with the leader of the group, and he was like, yeah, there's a long way up. And I was like, yes, but what you did, it's a klein Wunder, right? It's a small wonder, because you basically got a pretty big group of people, right, to show up for rehearsals, to have a common goal, to get better
for years.
for years. Exactly. So, I mean, man,
That's an achievement, yeah.
that's if only that, if this is the only thing he did in his life,
That's great.
kudos to him, man.
Yeah, I
Like,
didn't achieve something like that. Yeah.
right? So to get, like, I think all in all, there are more than 100 people from 4 cities here in Germany. So there's the Go Brazil in Munich. There's us in Augsburg, the Pica-Pau. There's Pimiento, I think, in Dillingen, and there's another one that I always forget the name. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really sorry, but I'm really bad with names. So, but nevertheless, it's a small wonder to be like,
Yeah.
you know.
I can't organize 3 people other than myself sometimes. So
Exactly, which are your immediate family, right?
Exactly,
So,
it's like-
I know the exact
I
feeling.
would be so lost without the missus doing these things with me.
Thank God for women. I mean,
my God,
and
yeah.
their organizing skills, we would
Yeah.
be messed up.
And this guy has organized like 100 people over years. Like, yeah. Shoo.
Really, I mean, it's like, if nothing else,
Can I have some of that juice? I need
yeah,
that.
exactly. So, but yeah, exactly like I said it. So I've missed some opportunities because of my ego and because of my, some things I learned also from my father, who was like an ego monster, and also from some other people around me. And yeah, sorry for that ambulance in the background, but it is what it is, guys. So
Wasn't me.
fortunately, there's a sort of elitism going around music communities. So
Why would they be better than other communities, Red?
right, but so there's kind of a hierarchy. So, for example, in Romania, you have 3 names for musician, right?
Okay.
Right.
Hit me.
So you have Lautar, which comes, I think, from Greek, from lauteria, which is more like, let's say, more or less folklore musician, right? So it implies uneducated, musically speaking, someone.
So like a gypsy type musician, or is
Not,
it
not necessarily.
okay.
We also have our Romanian folklore, right? So the Gypsy or Sinti or Roma communities, they're coming from what's nowadays India, Pakistan,
Yeah,
that entire region, even Bangladesh, right? So and they are ethnically and also culturally really different.
different. Yeah.
Even though they adapted to their host countries, they are truly different, and they have their own music and their own everything.
You know, I'm asking because usually if you have these hierarchies, the in quotes lowest one is usually more like derogatory, and so that's why.
This term is also used derogatory.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I asked.
And
Okay.
it does not necessarily apply to gypsy musicians or ethnically different musicians. It applies to,
Generally speaking, okay.
let's put it in like a huge category of untrained musicians,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
And then you have musicant. So
So wait. Sorry, I need to understand this properly. So, I played some music with my kids today. We have a keyboard. We have like a little drum, darbike, and we just played some music and some notes, and it was terrible from a music perspective, but we had great fun.
yeah, of course.
So that's the category we're in then, right? Untrained, just people making sounds, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's
Okay.
say.
Yeah.
Let's
Okay.
say, right? Yeah. So we have musicant. In the category of musicant, you can also put some kind of lăutari, so kind of like untrained raw talent, let's call them musicians,
Okay.
quasi-educated musicians, or bad trained musicians.
Okay.
It's kind of like a Middle Earth kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
It's also used kind of derogatory sometimes. Sometimes it's used like he's the shit, man. Like
Okay.
he's musicant, right?
Okay.
And you have musician, so musician, right?
Ooh.
Which implies conservatory, implies many years of study,
Classical training,
right?
yeah.
Classical
Okay,
training
okay.
and
Got
all that jazz. Now, I have the perfect story to illustrate this snobbery. Years back, I was I was collaborating. I was in a band, right? But I was also doing, because I was already sick of that band, and not the band itself, but the internal conflicts and all kind of strife that was
Yeah. Okay.
already, sucking the fun out of our music and out of stuff. And by that time, I was already like 4 years. I was already for 4 years in the band, so I've invested a lot of time and money and energy and everything. And now looking back, I don't truly regret it, but it's regrettable the way it ended, because it
Yeah.
ended in a very
Good way. Yeah.
dry, unsatisfactory kind of way, right?
Yeah. Happens. Yeah.
Anyways, so I started some different stuff, like I'm doing now with the samba, just to take my my mind off the fact that my own band imploded all of a sudden without, or let's say with half good reasons. Right? So I joined this improv theater band. I was I was the fourth musician as in someone playing an instrument in the band. So there were like 3 keyboard players and me, the oddball guitar players. And I was actually the only guitar player at the time doing improv theater with anyone in Romania.
Okay.
Which I mean, yeah,
Nice.
man, cool. Like
Nice.
I can get like a small insignia, like the first one. Anyways, or I think so. I was the first one. Anyways, so we got invited on a pretty posh radio show. When I say posh, it was one of the AM shows, which was mainly listened to by older people, more prestigious people, right? Not necessarily cool people, but snobs, right? And the, they started with the actors, of course, because that's their turf. And they each presented themselves, and they got to me. And when they got to me, one of the actors presented me like, "Hey, and this is Philip, because that's my actual name, and this is the only guitar player we have in this organization, and this and that, and blah 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 blah." Right? And then I got to say a bit of what I'm doing in the band and what's my process and whatever. Cool. And at the end of the show, like most radio shows, they were taking phone calls from the listeners. And the first phone call was this lady. You could hear by her voice that she was a mean one. And yes, and I love your show. And that fake voice and
oh boy,
right?
Yeah.
But I would like to observe one thing and to to underline one thing. So and I would like to address now your so-called musician in the band.
Wow.
Okay.
Shots fired, lady.
Shots fired, but they were like warning shots. They were like,
shoot
right?
to kill, yeah.
Yeah. And she was like, "So how could you call yourself a musician when the actual musicians in history were people like Mozart, Beethoven, and Chopin?"
Okay.
I was stumped.
Name 3 more.
Yeah, no, I was stumped. In that exact moment, I was actually stumped. And this actor, who, let's say we had not the best of relationships, me and him, sorry, he said, "Well, excuse me, madam, but what is your job? What's your profession?" She was like, "I'm a chemist." "Oh, a chemist. How can you call yourself a chemist when also Marie Curie was a chemist?"
Nice.
Man, I was like...
That's like, hell yes.
We erupted all in like a choir of laughter.
Yeah.
Like slamming the desk, like the decibel meters were going like red. The recording team was like, "Don't!" She hung up, of course.
Of course.
Right? But this bit illustrates exactly this snobbery that also unfortunately happens in the world of musicians.
Oh my God,
of all sorts. And how sad is that, man? I mean, the second someone starts playing their instrument, whatever their instrument might be, it's like in all other jobs and professions, right? You see their level instantly. I mean,
yeah. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know, right? I mean, let's say, sure, maybe in some more truly abstract and bullshit-based areas of work like project management or product owner or whatever that bit, it might take you a couple of months to see, oh, that guy is like tabula rasa, is like nothing there. But in this vocational, as they call them, bit of work or domains, and even like handwork, you see from the first like weld point, they know jack shit.
Oh
like,
yeah,
nothing.
By the questions another programmer asks and the way they just deal with a problem, I instantly know where to approximately. Right?
Exactly. So it's exactly like that with musicians.
Yeah,
and
that makes sense.
You don't have to be precious about it, and you don't have to be elitist about it. And
no, but if somebody is also like bullshitting you or
of course,
just not doing things properly.
Of course, but having this this paradise lost kind of thing, like, but people before,
that's
everything goes better. So man, I saw a meme, I think I forgot to send it to you. So it was like modern people, like father and son, was like, no son, in the Elizabethan era or the Victorian era, things were way better. And then in the Victorian, like, no, in the Middle Ages everything was or in the Renaissance, right? And then people
antibiotics much.
And then so it was going like that, like the Greeks. No, the actual Mycenaeans, and then the amoebas, or like the first. We're the best. right? Because
Hold on, what about singularity?
yeah, we were talking about organisms, right? And
Yeah.
like father and son kind of.
Yeah.
But that thing illustrates exactly the stupidity
So dumb.
of this thing. Like again, so I was telling you about my I don't know, discover passion for history, and then the Hittite civilization and all that thing. And by the way, I made a boo-boo in that episode where I was talking about the 1,000 year of peace. Yes, they said that in the document, but it was the young the young empire, the young Egyptian.
Yeah, the new, not the middle one.
Yes, not the middle one. I'm sorry for that bit. Right. So when they finally translated those tablets or decoded, how you want to say, man, life has always been kind of the same, right?
Yeah.
So same kind of problems, same kind of things. And now while reading it, I was, realizing and internalizing like, they had similar lives to us, of course, without the modern amenities and this luxury we have. That we have this, as it's called in German, Kühlschrank, right? Like a cold closet, right?
Yeah.
Which is it's exactly like Kylskåpet is in Swedish. It means exactly the same thing, right? This would have seemed like magic 200 years ago, right? They were like special cellars with blocks of ice that kept things very cold, and very, very rich people could afford that.
Only,
right? So we have things that would have been either miraculous for older civilizations and or an incredible luxury, but exactly like you said, we kind of don't have the luxury of thinking about things in depth and experiencing life in a more direct kind of way. I mean, all this. Even it's kind of sad, but even this kind of discussion recorded and then uploaded, it's in a way artificial. Is not live, right? I mean, it's happening now live.
Yeah.
And we're putting our hearts and souls and everything else into it, but it's not an you know what I mean.
Yeah, we could also be sitting at a campfire outside and looking at the stars, kind of,
Yeah, but we would be worried about some bears or wolves or something.
As I said earlier, like, not everything was always better in the past, right?
No.
Definitely not.
But the singular cell organisms, they were the best.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they are, because if they didn't exist, we wouldn't exist. So,
True. And they still exist. So,
especially the amoebas, they're hard to kill.
Yeah.
If you get those into your organism, you're cooked.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah.
Don't. Yes, people like embrace pasteurization and boil your water.
Water, please. Yes.
Yeah, don't go for amoebas. Yeah. They're really tough.
They're cute, but also tough. Yeah.
Cute under a microscope.
Yes.
Or in memes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So that's kind of where I am right now. How about you? I like always, I kind of speak most. I mean, I'm doing a lot of talking, so
I don't know. I think
I will shut up now.
I talked a lot today, especially in the middle part. So
way more than usual.
Way more than usual, but
and by the way, to the listeners, I'm sorry. I just tend to get lost in my own tangents, and sometimes I just keep on blah 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 blah. So,
but that's okay. I think we. In German, we would say, wir ergänzen uns.
Okay.
Because you have a similar way of thinking to mine, so I can actually follow. And
same type of scatterbrain.
Yeah, exactly. And I just like to to follow these thoughts and see where they go. And I'm okay just staring at a wall for an extended amount of time. So
Yeah, me too.
it's
But
fine.
I'm scaring my wife usually when I'm doing that.
And then, you know, you say something and like, whoa, wait, I need to go back because I'm still here.
Yeah.
And then I start talking, you know, so it's fine. That's why this works.
Yeah.
Also, the one thing, well, like the biggest difference between like in quotes real life conversation and podcast conversations, we don't talk over each other as much when we
True.
record. We're very
That's
disciplined so far, so that's pretty impressive, I would say, for us.
Yeah, that's also true. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
I mean,
So-
I guess it kind of feels. I don't know. It kind of feels a certain way having a microphone in front
Yeah.
of you, right?
Oh, yeah,
And the
definitely.
headphones. It kind of sets you in a certain medium and a certain
Yeah.
mood, and you're kind of okay. We're also recording, even though, by the way, we never truly think, or I at least, and I'm pretty sure you too. I don't censor myself. I mean.
No.
You heard me cursing and saying all kind of bad words, and they are part of vocabulary too and of languages. And yeah, they are kind of the spice of the languages. So if you do nothing, if you're like, as they say nowadays, or as they used to say, vanilla, you know, salt is not a spice. So
Yeah. I mean, words wise, but also like, I'm just saying what I think.
yeah, me too. I mean, I don't truly choose my words. Well, I'm choosing my words whenever I'm like super tired, like I'm right now, and sometimes things come out wrong. Again, English is like my second language, and I'm even worse in German, which is my fifth language. So, yeah.
But yeah, it makes a difference. I'm super not used to like talking into a microphone. I'm used to like acting on the stage, but this was or is very new to me. And my wife already said, she's like, you sound different. Not just because you're speaking in English, she's kind of used to that, but I sound different when speaking English or when speaking German or when speaking Assyrian.
Yeah.
But because I'm trying to talk a little more slowly and to express my thoughts a little bit better.
Yeah.
Because not everybody who's listening knows me as well as you or my wife, so you can kind of follow where I'm going.
Yeah.
And so that makes a huge difference, definitely.
Plus this proximity of having headphones and hearing yourself augmented in a way,
Yeah,
you know?
I usually don't listen to Orion FM because, you know, it's not...
Exactly. No, for example, a thing that people kept on pestering me about, like singing, right? And I did sang on a tune like lead vocals. It's a duet. It's with one of my bands, which is called Magnetic Bonbons, and you know, it's one of those tragic songs about breakup and all that strife, and. Trust me, I truly hate hearing my own voice, and mixing that one was torturous. Like
I remember when you were doing that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I had a truly tough time mixing that song just because of my vocals.
Yeah.
And I got trained by Veronica, who's the other half of Magnetic Bonbons, and she showed me how to yawn before recording vocals, which I find to be like the secret sauce. It's truly amazing because it relaxes all your muscles and your throat and everything. So, yeah. And all kind of how to breathe, how to push certain notes, where to feel your... how to feel your diaphragm or diaphragm. Yeah, exactly. And
Zwerchfell.
yeah, exactly. I said like
Yeah.
like in Romanian. Sorry. So yeah, but even with all that, and I managed to sing the notes more or less okay. I think I still used a bit of Melodyne just to, sweeten up some of the sour ones. But still, it was torture to listen to my own vocals and to mix it. And so
Yeah.
yeah, maybe it's still that thing we kind of started with this. How is it called, man? Jesus Christ!
I don't know where you're going.
I'm so
I'm
tired.
sorry.
This imposter syndrome of sorts, right? Even though in the case of me singing, I'm a total imposter. I'm the il dilettante. Because yes, I've been doing music for the last maybe 25 or more years, but singing was never my thing.
Well, music is so broad. Like, even if you do it for 100 years, you still.
I've always expressed myself through a guitar and or musical instrument, but mainly guitar. So yeah, it's still. That being said, and this is going way too long. I will end up with this. So for any musician of any sort, maybe not for the brass or reeds or stuff that they have to blow into whatever tube of sorts. Don't go there. Don't go there.
Dude, I'm tired. Don't do that.
Yeah, me too. But it is what it is. Those are the instruments, mate, like
Yeah, I
saxophone
know.
and trumpet and clarinet and all.
Saxophone.
Yes, saxophone. Yes, on the phone.
I can hear the missus rolling her eyes
Yeah,
right now.
like dramatically. Anyway, so for anything like a guitar player or bass player, what have you, learning how to sing, it's a huge boost. If you love improvising, learning how to sing will truly free you of the boxes you'll put yourself in because of the scales you're learning and because in that tonality those notes are the correct ones and so on and so forth. But we'll continue with this music and musicianship topic because I'm so tired right now.
Yeah.
And I'm truly losing my tangents. So I'm like,
No, this is I think this is a good ending point. It is a good idea to, even if you're a very experienced craftsman or craftswoman, to extend your horizon, and you could even expand that to people. Like, try something new from time to time. So
yeah,
I think that's a good way to.
There
to say
is
it.
also in the broader Chinese philosophy, there is a saying that says, to see the mountain you are on, it's better to climb the other mountain, to see it from afar. So it's, well, I think I butchered it, but it's more or less like that.
The meaning is clear, yeah.
The meaning is kind of clear. So you kind of have to try something else to see where you are and to test your metal, as they say.
Yeah. That's a good way to end this. So
Yeah,
thanks for joining us on this longest episode yet, I would say.
probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Might be.
So yeah, I hope to see you, hear you in the next one, people. Comment what you want us to talk about. And yeah, see you soon. Thanks, mate.
All right, thank you, mate,
ciao.
and thank you, everyone. Have a nice one. Ciao.